Broads Media.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome on in to the day after pod. I gotta tell you, I've loved every second of mocking the Cowboys today. Monday, everyone's got the big juicy storylines, and the first thing I see, the second I turn on my television with my cup of coffee this morning, is Micah Parsons throwing Mike McCarthy to the wolves. He goes, I don't care where McCarthy goes. I don't care if he's here, if he's elsewhere. I look at guys like Zach Martin and respect the effort they've put in since they got into this league, and we want to succeed for them. I'm paraphrasing, but that is literally the textbook definition of throwing the head coach who takes all the shots for you every single week. He's getting thrown under the bus. It's a dumpster fire, and it's a beautiful thing to witness from a distance. There's more beauty here, though. The Eagles are damn good. Damn good. And I am so ready to break through this shield, whatever was covering me, to truly open up my heart and love this group. I've always had something, a hard shell, that was stopping me from embracing them. I'm a little nervous, if I'm being wide open and honest here. I'm a little nervous to say that this week, with Thursday being the swing game for me. You have to win Thursday for all these games after the bye to hold more weight. And I do think they will, and I believe in them, and I think they can. So I'm all in with this football team, but actually watching the W, seeing them roll through a team that they're fighting with for the top of the NFC East, it goes a long way for the morale. And I need it just to be sure. Because the whole Nick thing and in-game decisions, Cooper Rush hasn't beaten anybody. Mike McCarthy's been in this league since what feels like 1543. He's never had an offense look that putrid. That's what happens when there's someone who's incapable of doing anything, taking the snaps. Will those issues that Nick has shown previously pop up in a tighter matchup? Or is it even going to be tight? Will the Eagles demolish them? And Saquon is another star for another week. Dude, he's doing so much greatness that Nike is now starting a new campaign, right? Like, that's how fucking filthy this man has become. I'm watching LeBron James walk into stadiums rocking Nike's backwards hurdling campaign. Maybe they just go right into the middle of the ring and punch their fucking brains out. And oh my God, if they do, I am going to be electric. I'm ready. I'm ready to embrace them like never before. I'm just waiting for Thursday to happen, but I know what is going to happen. I'm just waiting for it to happen. I've been harsh. I've been extremely critical. I've been big on the eye test and what it feels like to me week to week. And reasonably so. I wasn't fully where I wanted to be early on. But now the vibe I'm getting, this is Jalen Hurts being an MVP again. His throws are so perfect for these big bombs, these big long shots downfield. They make SportsCenter top 10. Not that that's the end-all, be-all, but I'm sort of using that just as a description more so than the technicality of it. The wow, splashy, incredible, ridiculous play that some teams get 1 or 2 of in a 9-game stretch, they're having more than one on a night-to-night basis. And it's because they're so elite that you have to respect Saquon. You can't let that just beat you down. So when you do, it just opens up so much more flexibility with how you want to handle the passing game. So it's either Saquon eats you alive, runs you over, gashes through you, or you sell out, and then good luck with Goddard. Did you see that touchdown? That Selly, too, was hard. That Selly, him in the end zone, okay? You saw Johnny Wilson getting in there. It's ridiculous. There's so many layers to this, and it's starting to really form, just like the defenses. Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell are stealing the show. And it's so funny because I'm having deja vu as I'm sitting in this chair talking to you right now. I feel for the last 3 weeks, them as a duo, those two names, the way that they fly out of my mouth, it's like I just sit here in awe and reflect on how dominant they are and how much their personalities matter, how much they have changed the identity of how strong this defense could be. And Zach Bond, too. Maybe finally Howie Roseman can realize what a game-changing linebacker can do to your entire makeup. If this isn't enough to see it, I don't know if we will ever get it through the thick skull of Howie. But those three in particular, it's so lethal. I watched the Lions, right? Gritty way to win when your quarterback throws 5 interceptions. Granted, some injuries are going down right now for the Houston Texans. That was a great win that teams with a special future, they pull those ones out. The Eagles are starting to get a very similar feel to the Lions. I know what it's like because we've experienced it before. It's something I never want to forget, and it's something I always want to have. Now that we are in that territory again, I'm ready to pounce. Good for Nick Serriani. Good for Nick Serriani. He's controlled, and he controlled this. Both of those are true. He controlled the locker room. He controlled the messaging. And he controlled himself. And now we are getting something that makes more sense. It got out of touch. He reeled it back in. Not easy to do. That's extremely hard to do, especially when there's so much pressure on you, knowing you've already let it spiral. So seriously, awesome for Nick. What I won't do, though, is let the Nick Sirianni guzzlers go to this crazy level that he's as good as Andy Reid or he's as good as some of these all-time greats because of his record to start his campaign. I don't want to sit here and shit on the head coach. I don't want to do that. I am opening up my heart and accepting who they are. And he's a part of this, and he deserves a lot of love if they continue to play this well. Personally speaking, though, and I'll just throw this in here quickly, Nick is benefiting from the roster built more than the roster built is being benefited from Nick Sirianni. And maybe that's supposed to be the case. When you think of superstar caliber teams who win Super Bowls. But imagine what this team would look like under Andy Reid. I think it looks different. But I really don't want to do that. Now is not the time for that. But I think it's just gotten out of hand because there's all these comparison lists of what his record is and how many games won. There was a 3-game season run for Mike McCarthy where he had 36 wins in 3 years in the regular season. Almost 40 wins in 3 years. 36 and 40 there's a big difference. 4 wins in that span is definitely different, but 36 wins in 3 years. It doesn't say everything. What they need him to be now, though, is what he's doing currently. And I applaud him for that. All right? Listen, this is just the steps for me. This isn't the path that I would have necessarily signed up for myself. Just speaking about my emotions and how we got here and where we started and all of that. This isn't preferred. But I know that they deserve my love. They deserve my heart. Because as I've been using this phrase of something's brewing for a while now, it's brewed. It's brewed now. It was brewing. Now it's brewed. What do you do with it? That's the real question, and time will tell. So I do want to play this clip of Saquon Barkley, though, because it ties together on why maybe it looked the way it did previously, and now that they are ass kicking and they're putting wooden spoon to bare ass, just like Grandma Jean used to do when I got in trouble. Just kidding. I used to get mouth in my soap. Nope, soap in my mouth. I never truly got the wooden spoon. That was always the fear. Anyway, I digress. That's how much they are destroying these teams. It's like wooden spoon to bare ass. Why? Why did it take as long as it did? Well, take a listen to Saquon Barkley postgame.
Given how far it's kind of come since the bye, where it kind of 2-2 starts, a little bit rocky. What does it say?
I wouldn't say it's rocky. I think you guys made it seem rocky. No offense. You guys are doing your job, but panic outside of the locker room kind of, it was from outside the locker room. It wasn't in here. We had no panic. We kind of treated it like the preseason games, to be honest. That was kind of the mindset. It was all right, we're done with preseason. Now let's go get things shaking.
Now, does that make sense to all of you? I don't know if that was necessarily the message from day one, and that's how they were going to handle the first month of September, or is that something that they used to sort of push them into the right mindset once they had the early bye? That was the button that Nick pushed. Hey, that was our preseason. Let's tie a bow on it. It is what it is. We now have a ton of football in front of our face. Jalen, it's time to pop off. Saquon, keep doing your thing. Yo, Dallas, I promise we'll get you. I know we're going to incorporate you. You will get the touchdowns you're looking for. We'll find you in the end zone. The whole thing is about the spread wide open. And once we lock it in, good luck. No one's going to catch us. And now that's sort of the stance they have on it all, because that's different for me. But anyway, it doesn't really matter how. It's just the fact that they did. It doesn't matter how they got here. They did get here. But I just thought my ears perked up because maybe that's the way that they sort of targeted that September month, and trying to learn more from Vic Fangio, trying to learn more from Kellen Moore, looking exactly at how they're going to get Jalen Hurts under center to be utilized differently, and it'll be unique looks with the play action, with just traditionally handing it off to Saquon and letting them feast behind this offensive line. They are so harsh to play against. This line swallows you. Offensive line. And now they can make tackles defensively. I'm not as used to their defensive line maybe not being as loud as normal. We've seen it be more aggressive in previous years, 70 sacks. But the way they fly around, the way they lock down, the way they make tackles, they go downhill, they play with this toughness. It's harsh. And you're not just going to gain an inch easy. Saquon gets the ball on 3rd and 6. He squares up his body. He looks through the chest of 4 or 5 different Dallas defenders. He hits spinoramas as he's gaining speed and leveraging just his thick-ass thighs and his quads and his ability to bounce off people. I mean, I wouldn't want to look at him in the eyes and try and take him down. Well, if you're looking at his eyes, you're probably whiffing. But even Jalen making guys miss. When he's standing in the pocket and he plants one foot and shifts his body to the right just for a half a second, and you see that the Cowboys actually dial up a well-designed, good-timed blitz, and the blitzer can't tackle because Jalen is dancing around and making you miss. For his size, like, he's not this... He is quick and shifty, but it's deceiving, right? He's not a skinnier, thinner quarterback that can have certain footwork to him or whatever, right? Like the way Lamar Jackson runs, he's going to make you miss. He's so shifty, his body moves differently. Jalen is thick, but he's got firmness. Sure. Come on, you know what I mean. Dude, I am losing it with this description. But you follow. It's deceptive the way he does it in the pocket, makes a throw in the back of the end zone. Amazing. Some are potentially comparing the CeeDee Lamb issue with the sun and the glare to Jalen Hurts, and that's why the first half looked the way that it did, or when he got sacked 5 times, maybe there was a correlation. Maybe. It did impact CeeDee Lamb. We saw it. We saw his reaction. He pointed up. He did the whole look back at Cooper Rush. I missed it. And the most ironic part is I happened to scroll through Twitter today and saw that Mike McCarthy, unless I got duped, or dupe's the wrong word, but unless I got faked out and this was just a stupid meme that was going viral from another time, but apparently Mike McCarthy was doing his press conference today, this afternoon, and they put a screen to the right of him because the glare was so bad again that it would have gotten to his eyesight as he was describing what went wrong in yesterday's game. That's incredible. How ironic. That is the funniest shit I've ever seen. It is so Jerry Jones. I got people asking, bros, what if they went and got Dion? What if they drafted his son? I would love for that to happen. Now, I think his son could play. I'm not anti-Dion, but knowing if it falls and if it collapses, how bad it could be, especially with how noisy of an organization. Like, these are big personalities. These are monster personalities you're talking about. If they go in there and flop the way the Cowboys always do, it's going to get that much messier, and I project anybody that they hire to be abysmal. It's sort of like the Giants. Brian Daboll makes sense a few years back. He's the shiny object. He's the guy everybody wants. He goes to the Giants. It doesn't work. The organization just sucks. The Cowboys, the organization sucks. Now, I don't know if Brian Daboll's good, bad, indifferent. I don't know. But I do know that when you go to the Giants, everybody seems to fail. When you go to the Cowboys, everybody fails. Whether you get to the playoffs, whether you have a dumpster fire season, whatever it is, they don't reach the end goal. Let it fall apart and crumble with Dion and his son as the face and the quarterback. And my God, that will be one of the most intense, hilarious, crazy downfalls. Sign me up. Sign me up. But look, I don't know if it's going to come down to Jalen Hurts only struggled because of the lights. It probably makes some sense to some degree, but I thought it was more along the lines of he was feeling himself. He expected to be able to dominate the Cowboys because they are that bad. And it just took him a few drives and a few mistakes, unfortunately, sort of to get his head back on his shoulders. And once he did, it was lights out, put you to sleep. We're not even going to rock you. No bedtime story tonight. Maybe that joke sucked. I don't know. I'm a father now. Those are the things I go through. Hey, listen, if you are new to the channel, welcome on in. Thank you for being here. We break down Philly sports every day. So make sure you hit the subscribe button and you hit the thumbs up button as well. I greatly appreciate all of your love. And you can take me on the road with you by going to your favorite podcasting platform. And if you search Sports Talk with Broads, you can subscribe over there as well. You can leave a 5-star rating and a review. It truly helps spread the show. And I can't thank you all enough. Lastly, my friends at Garage Beer, they're phenomenal. They're just as solid as Jalen Hurts dropping a dime to Devontae Smith 50 yards downfield. They're right on the money. It's not an IPA, all right? It's 100% light beer, and it's 1,000% quality. You have to, and I mean you have to, make sure you give Garage Beer a run because it is the best beer to touch your lips. DrinkGarageBeer.com. That's the information. The link is down below. And with that, why don't we take some anytime hotline calls from the amazing people?
Bros, I had to step outside the sports bar to make this call. It's Will from West Virginia. I don't know if it's because I was playing pool and you know, indulging a little bit in some drinks during this Eagles game, this beautiful Eagles game. But I don't think I saw anything that I hated from Nick Seriani today. And maybe it's because I was distracted by playing pool and playing games, but, man, this was beautiful. This was a great day. Go Birds, baby, and fuck the Cowboys. Let's go.
That's right. Fuck them. I love the move to play pool, by the way. Love it. That's a vet move. Grab a couple pints. You know what I'm saying? A little 8-ball, maybe a little 9-ball if you're feeling frisky. Just hunker down for a couple hours. Get something to snack on at the tables, but it'll make you thirstier, so you get 6 or 7 more pints your way. It's a good move. It's a strong move. Love that move. Yeah, look, Nick Seriani did not piss me off at all. You know, they're playing well. They're playing well. This thing is moving in the right direction. They're all pulling the same direction with the rope. I think I used that the right way. I think that phrase was knocked out of the park. Look at this. I'm going 1, 2, 3, bada bing, bada boom. All right, listen, I feel so good about this game on Thursday. I just don't know how you play in front of this crowd, knowing the stakes, knowing how well you've put it all together. This seems to be one that, wow. Cincinnati, second half, that was one. This could almost be the domino effect. This could almost be step 2, where we now talk about the back half of Cincinnati turning the page, but that win against Washington was the real one. That was the massive one. That was the season-defining one. One was a season changer. This could be the season definer. When they roll into the playoffs, this is the game you highlight. Remember when they put up 40 plus? Remember when they absolutely destroyed the Commanders and the Commanders went on to drop 4 of their next 6? Something like that. Yo, why not? Why not? And if you get ahead early with the way this defense plays in this atmosphere, you score 2 touchdowns on your first 2 drives and you hold them to a field goal. Maybe you force a fumble. Oh, man. And the offense puts up 7 because of it. Dude, you're telling me the Commanders are going to crawl back with the arrogance that we currently have? I don't think so. And even if the Eagles have to play catch up, I expect them to be able to do that. With the Commanders, I almost feel they got to work from the top. They got to work from the start. They got to go to work early, and they have to make a stance. Because if they don't, it can get out of control and out of control early, where this could be another laugher. It's a different beast to be playing late November, mid-November at the Link as a road team when the Birds are 7-2. And when now, I think it's not just me, but it's this entire city that has absolutely opened up their arms. That affects the crowd. I think where we are now, being more accepting of them and who they are, it only really does become that much more crazy, that much more intense as 65,000 people are ready to run you out of town. Get on that damn bus and shoot the fuck back down 95. And I hope you get caught in 9 hours of traffic. I hope that your wheels pop safely and you have to roll over to the shoulder and nobody gets hurt, but it just takes a long time for AAA to come and then they have to fix your tires for you. I want to be very clear. I want it to be very safe and sound, just a standard pop tire that allows for you to move over. Because you're going 3 miles per hour anyway because you're stuck in bumper to bumper. Anyway. Love the call. Thank you for the call. Let's take the next call.
Hey, Broads. I'm in an airport right now. I hope you can hear me. I just listened to the game. I don't know if we're at the same level we were at in 2022, and especially offensively. I still think we just have to get that chemistry down. But one thing's for sure, I'm more confident in this defense with Vic Fangio than I ever was under Jonathan Gannon. I don't know if we're quite as talented as a unit right now as like San Fran, okay? But man, does this defense fight hard? They are as locked in right now as anyone in the league. And, they play for each other. It's not just one guy. You hear everybody's name. And that's why when a guy like Vic Fangio says, I like my defense, a respected coordinator like that, you don't change it much. You say, you work with what you have. And I love today's win. Look forward to listening to you.
Thank you so much for the call. So first guy playing pool, probably at a dive bar. Second guy at the airport after listening to the game on, I assume, his Odyssey app. That's outstanding. I mean, that's tremendous how we all consume this in different ways. But I do think it's a tremendous point about how well we feel about, or how good we feel, whatever, how good we feel about Vic Fangio and the style of defense this team plays. It kind of reflects back to, like Gannon had results, but no one ever felt comfortable. Vic, you feel comfortable. That almost applies very similar to the conversation I had previously about Nick. It's like Nick is Jonathan Gannon, where you get the results you're looking for, but you're never comfortable with it. Remember when we brought up Andy Reid and all the greats? And, I think that's almost like a perfect way to describe it. But we are getting the results right now. With Vic Fangio, even when you look at their 10-1 record last year with Sean Desai and Matt Patricia and everything that transpired there, when they were 10-1, I never felt this. I never felt this. I never felt like this. 7-2, 10-1, the feelings, while both are phenomenal records, there was always something iffy about the Eagles a year ago. There were iffy moments early here, but the strong moments that we're feeling now, I never really felt those strong moments ever last year. To Vic Fangio's credit, awesome. To Kellen Moore's credit, what changed? Sean Desai's not super experienced. Matt Patricia's a bum. And Brian Johnson never really had the opportunity before getting the upgrade from the quarterbacks coach from the years with Shane Steichen. Now you bring in guys who have so much experience, know what it's like to have the pressure on you. When you're with the Dallas Cowboys, there is a lot of talk about you every single day. You better execute. And by the end, Kellen Moore, they said goodbye. Experience, knows the pressure. Vic Fangio. I don't think the guy feels pressure anymore because he's so numb to it. He's been around for so long. But look at the quality and the upgrade of those two men. And now we wonder why we feel more confident in the way the unit looks to be together, looks to be one. I don't think it's rocket science. Those voices and that knowledge, it goes a long way. And it doesn't just install confidence from us, the fans. Think about what it does for the players involved, too. I've seen a lot of football, man. A lot of football. All right, we'll take one more call here.
Yo, what's up, Broads? I just think that today was really a statement win. I really don't care who Dallas had at quarterback or whatever the circumstances were. I don't think anybody saw the Eagles winning this game by 28 points. I mean, I sure as hell didn't. And for them to go out and especially in the second half, just thoroughly dominate, outscoring the Cowboys 20-0 in the second half, was just amazing. And the last thing I'm going to say is that if the Eagles do not extend both Zach Bond and Nakobe Dean, they're absolutely foolish. Absolutely foolish. These guys need extensions ASAP. I don't care about Nakobe Dean's injury history. You got to get both of those guys signed because these two dudes are all over the field. They're attacking the football. They're running downhill on run plays, stuffing the runs, running through the gaps, making plays. Zach Bond with one of the best games I've seen a linebacker play probably all season. He was everywhere today. He was everywhere. And same with Nakobe Dean. But Zach Bond was everywhere today.
The Zach Bond is everywhere today is almost something that I've said for every single game this season except for one. There was one quieter game where we said, oh yeah, we've seen Zach Bond do more. We've seen Zach Bond's name pop out for bigger stretches before in a game. And then since that, it was just fantastic. So, look, I have no clue. We ended last show with a very similar thought, and we'll end this one with a very similar thought. It just comes down to I won't believe it until I see it, that Howie Roseman will put all of his, would put assets and money and salary cap and all that at the linebacker position until I see it. I mean, I'm witnessing that change the identity of the football team for the better. But once again, maybe they feel we found Bond, we'll find the next guy. We found Marcus Epps, we'll find the next one. Not the same position, but that idea. And then once it's time for them to get paid, you let them go and you bring in the next wave. I mean, there's a part of me that thinks that that's how they're going to run it. And they'll justify it by claiming, how do you want us to pay Devontae? How do you want us to pay AJ? How do you want us to pay Saquon? Those are the hits we have to take. So pick your poison. That's probably what they'll sell. But we'll find out. I hope I'm wrong. Because I see the value in what a linebacker brings, especially nowadays. All right. So thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I greatly appreciate it. This was the day after pod. Super weird week. Quick turnaround. So before you know it, we'll be right back in the trenches. Can't wait. Thank you guys all so much. I love you to death, and I'll catch you all on the next one.